Welcome to the Women at Work series at Sipping Thoughts. I'm Sneha Boobna, and I'm going to be hosting this panel discussion today. Last time we had a session on relooking at our career in pandemic and post-pandemic times. One key question that came forward in that session was, how can we evaluate our current work performance and career path at this time? Due to the pandemic, many companies have put appraisals and promotions on hold. So, in such a stressful time, how do we know if we are on the right path? And then we received a lot of questions from people who are looking for answers on how we can find what we want to do. With that in mind, we have organized this session with our current panel to find all these answers on evaluating our career paths. So, let me welcome the panelists, Vandana and Karuna. Vandana Shah, founder of Chrrysallis, is a global awards winner, business leader of the year, executive coach of the year 2021. She is a ICF licensed CEO and leadership coach, writer and speaker with PCC level accreditation and over 3,500 coaching hours, developing leaders in governments, public and private sector companies globally, including in the USA, India, UK, Sri Lanka, Singapore, Europe, and others. She has won many awards like Women of Excellence 2020 by India Achievers Awards IAF, along with 101 Most Fabulous Global Coaching Leaders by World HRD Congress, and India's Most Influential Coach by Global Excellence Council GEC, and more such recognitions. Welcome, Vandana. I'm so glad you could take some time out to join us in the discussion today.
Thank you.
Our second panelist is Karuna. Karuna Ahuja is a result-oriented global HR leader, coach, entrepreneur, and author with 18 years of senior leadership experience. She is the founder of Chrom Consulting. With experience in senior leadership roles in organizations like Bose, eValueServe, Eton, and Arvato Bertelsmann, she has built vast understanding of human potential in diverse industries and cultures. She's also the founder coach of EVA Club, an elite club for ambitious and innovative women to learn business education. Welcome, Karuna. We're very excited to have you here.
Thank you so much for this lovely session. Thank you so much.
So I'm going to jump right to, the most pressing question or something that everybody's always asking us. How to find out what you want to do and how to make a career choice when you are undecided. Karuna, maybe we start with you.
Okay. Sure. I think it's a pretty interesting question, and all of us, and specifically if I talk about myself, I have dealt with this question for my own self as well. Wondering what is my next move, or wondering what is the career that I would like to take up. I think what helped me has been that I wanted to understand that what do I want to look like, be like, feel like, and be known for in future. So when I thought of my vision is what helped me realize that what I wanted to take up as a career and move ahead. So that's one of the answers that I would like to give in a high level, that how to find what you want to do. Specifically when you're confused is look at what is your future vision, and then look at what are the steps that you can take to reach there. And of course, the path is not going to be linear. It is going to be a matrix. And in today's time, with so much of technology coming in, new kinds of careers coming in, I think the options are really open for a lot of people, specifically young ones who are just passing out of college. There is a lot of opportunity for people that they can pick up. So answer to that is very personal, but there is a path that you can look at. First, get clarity, and you can use certain tools for that, which is reflect on what do you want to be, what do you want to, let's say a few years from now, and what do you see as your career journey. And in that process, first know your own self. So while we keep talking, I'll tell you more, but to start with, I think that's the first tip to give for the session. know yourself a little better, and that will help you move ahead in that process.
Yeah, I would actually, maybe a little bit later would like to come back to you and ask you what kind of vision is really your vision. But first, let me hear Vandana's thoughts on this.
I completely agree with Karuna, what she said. Uh, to add to that, who you are is also finding your inner self. It's all about your values, your core competence, your surrounding, your resources, and that makes you who you are, your belief systems. And putting all together, you need to start getting into that exploratory mode and understand what's your purpose, which is now in this moment, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Connect your purpose with your passion and create the career which is going to be completely flourishing. So it is a mix of understanding yourself, then your environment, knowing why you want to do it, and that's your purpose. And then repurposing it with mixing all of this together with a good package and identifying what's meant for you. And this is the right path for me, and I need to start walking on that path. And you don't get tired walking on that path because it's a passion and it's just not profession. You love what you do. That's more meaningful.
Absolutely. And I think to add to what Vandana just said, Sneha, uh, also, I think what we need to understand is that there is a huge difference between having a job and having a career. There are two
Yes.
different things. And while I talk about, I sometimes do coach people who are in transitions in their careers, specifically mid-senior level professionals, and many a times, and also when we look at studies out there in the market by Deloitte, Gallup, etc., you find that more than 50% of people are dissatisfied with the jobs that they are in, and more than 70% of people are looking out for jobs. Why? Because they are not excited about what they are doing. So there could be multiple reasons, but if I share initially, what happens is that we pick up jobs because we think that okay, that this might be highly well paid for me, but then forget to align it to who I am, and and not make it value driven, not make it from a point of view of not just financial aspect, but not make it from the fact that it comes from within. So that's where I think the disconnect and dissonance happens, and that's why a lot of people don't enjoy what they are doing sometimes. So
So I
for, go ahead.
no, sorry, I don't want to interrupt.
No, I think I'm done. Go ahead.
So I sometimes feel I have also been on the other side, and maybe that's why I'm going to probe you a little bit more to understand that when you just start thinking about it, how do you really differentiate the two? I mean, what really is a passion or what is a vision in your opinion?
Okay. So, when initial years, I would say there were a lot of career models that had come out. There was a Holland model, there were multiple other models. People can read on Google as well about it. But if I talk about it from a theoretical point of view, just to start with the conversation, there is a concept called as protean career, which basically means that the person takes the ownership of being the architect of their own life, of their own career that they are creating. And there are two aspects to protean career. One aspect is you look at your own personal values, who you are. First, that's why I said the first step, and what Vandana was also, adding value to it was look at who you are first of all. What are your values? What are those needs that drive you? And then look at creating a career concept for yourself. And the second aspect is own it yourself, be accountable for it yourself. In the initial years, at this moment things are changing in the corporate sector also. Employees thought that the company was responsible to give them opportunities to move ahead. However, in today's time, we are realizing that it's important that the employee or the person takes the responsibility of their own career and be accountable for it. So those are two concepts to talk about, just to name it like a protean career. That's the word used in the in the corporate space. But just to give you a concept, start with knowing your own self. When you know yourself better, it helps you move ahead.
Vandana, what are your views on, how can one set their professional or career goals?
It's very interesting to elaborate a little more on the same aspect, what Karuna said. It's knowing yourself, and everybody will say, I know myself so very well. What do I need to know about it? I know my name is Vandana. I know I am this, I am that, I like this. Many a times, even the parents who come to a career coach or the counselor or the assessor to understand which career, what profession they should get into, they start telling about their kids. They really like these things, they like those things, XYZ, ABC. However, you first need to understand who you are, and that who you are is how are you wired neurologically? What is your behavior? Are you too much of an outgoing person? Can you mingle with anybody and everybody? Are you fit for a sales kind of a job? Or you are somebody who's an introvert person and who cannot take decisions too quickly? Are you task driven, or you are an introvert person who is completely people driven? So these are different aspects about knowing yourself, who you are, why you are, and what is it that's making you the way you are. So it has to be choosing your career not by seeing your surrounding, because when we are talking about corporate, I would like to bring this topic up about AI. Everybody's talking about it's AI, it's artificial intelligence. Every kid, I mean, that's the next new. Everybody should do this. I have got 2-3 years of experience now. Can I just start picking up some courses? I do this and get into this technology front. Really? Are you meant to do something which is for you? Would you like it after 5 years? What's your future that's holding for you in that particular area? Just because that's the hype in the market at the moment doesn't mean it is meant for you. And that's where you come back again to your basics to understand who you are. Are you a technology person, or are you a technical person who will talk balance sheet, numbers, accounts, profit and loss, data crunching? Or you are somebody who likes to go out and do a lot of creativity? You would like to do marketing. You're a very high risk taker and you would like to get into aviation or do something which is for high risk takers.
That's a very valid point, and I think what you guys are saying is really differentiate, number one, a job from a career. A career is everything which is more long term. You could have certain jobs, you could take a step forward, take a step backward, deviate a little, but career is different. And I totally agree with that. But I think when you start working, you kind of lose focus on the long term vision, and you see that, oh, what are my friends doing, what is everybody doing, what am I hearing in the market, and that's what I want to do. I want to understand a little bit, because you said it's so much about really knowing yourself, and rightly so, a lot of people don't know themselves that well. And you hear about personality tests, you hear about career quizzes. Do they truly help you in understanding? That's my first question. And second is, do you always need professional help to kind of navigate these tests? So Karuna, yeah.
In my opinion, I personally feel these psychometric tests help, and they could be one of the tools to help you decide. But making a decision just based on a tool is not the right aspect, in my opinion. So I want to just kind of differentiate this aspect, that use the psychometric tool as one of the tools, but the decision has to be owned by the person who's making that choice. So even if the test is saying something else, there are lot of leaders in this world whose tests, psychometric tests might say that they are introverted, they are not in a space where they should be, etc., etc., but they have thrived in the roles that they have because they chose to build certain skills in a certain way, and they are doing well for themselves. So even if there is a certain psychometric test that's coming up and it's giving you a certain guideline, still if the person is choosing to go on a different path, I think nobody should stop them from doing that. So it is just one tool, in my opinion, that can help and only give you a guideline. For example, I took, while I was in my corporate career, I took up a lot of psychometric tests. Some of the tests at that juncture of my time told me that I was, there was a certain mix of my personality. For HR, it was not that suitable. However, when I took those tests after a few years, those tests were very different. Why? Because certain life situations shifted, and also the work experiences made me a different person when it came to work. And did I thrive in my work? I think I did, absolutely. So I would say it's just an option for you to look at. But yes, you should take it up because it just helps you know yourself better, that what is it that you should work on, what is it that could be a gap, and what are those strengths that you should leverage on.
And do you take them usually with somebody professionally, or can you sign up online and you think that they work as well?
My personal opinion is you should take it up through a right channel where you get the guidance and the person helps you read it rightly. That's my opinion. I mean, there could be different opinions to it.
Vandana, what's your
I would
opinion
like
on this?
to differ it a bit. I would like to differ over here with regards to when you do these assessments, and if you take a professional support to conduct these assessments and go for a debriefing, understand what it's saying, because interpretation of those rankings, suggestions, or the data that comes out, that analysis, when a professional does it, brings a lot more value add. And as Karuna rightly said, you should not decide your career based on these assessments. 100% I'm with her on this. However, these assessments will be not the filtration tool. However, it will be a supporting tool. Supporting tool in a sense where you start when the professional or the assessor would help you to understand where are the gaps. What is your natural style, which is your DNA? And what is your adapted style, which is situation based? So for example, if somebody who wants to get into finance and needs a lot of logical left brain and data driven working style that he requires, and that competence comes as a lower score as his natural style, and still he has the liking towards that kind of a profession. He wants to become a chartered accountant or do some accounting or finance or tax audit in corporate. He wants to pick that as a career, he or she. The assessor is going to help them how to adapt, what are the ways and mechanisms that you can start adapting yourself in the situations in your career. However, your core will remain the same. So if somebody who is a short-tempered and who is probably a dominant personality, that's his natural style. One trigger, one mistake, and boom, you will be like losing your temper, and it will be like, you will start dictating terms and situations and things. However, adapted situation, you will start learning how to stay calm, how to be mindful about being sensible and empathetic in the situation with people, and you will have that trigger. However, you will be nicely adapting to that situation and not hurting anybody's emotion. You will be mindful about it. So these are adapted style and natural styles that really help you. I gave you one example. There are various in-depth discussions that happen. So professionals are definitely required. It is not understood by a normal person or decoded by a normal person vis-a-vis the professionals. Yes.
That's a very interesting point you brought up, and we've had this point come up a few times before in different sessions where we talk about, how do you upskill yourself, and I feel like right now when you're talking about this, my mind is going there, and it's such a great way to upskill yourself, because one aspect is, yes, you want to upskill yourself to be relevant, but you can upskill yourself because you know that that's not your natural competence, but you really want to work towards it so you can focus on those aspects.
Yes.
I'm also seeing some questions in the audience, and I just feel like it's probably the right time, so I'm going to jump in and ask, what kind of career tests can one take, and how, or what is a good career assessment tool?
I would say it's better to take a personality assessment test, and that could help you know yourself better. And then look at what are some career tests that you can pick up. So for me personally, MBTI, disc profiling for personality, for my style, have helped a lot in my in my own personal growth. So I have taken those tests, so I can, that's what I can recommend personally.
Vandana, do you have a
Yeah.
different view or
Yeah.
any
Yeah.
other?
There is no one tool that can really help you to understand. I always recommend permutation and combinations. Let's say, for example, somebody wants to understand, I am not happy with my this job. Am I in the right place? So then I would say, okay, probably, or little bit of the I mean, it's coming from the dissatisfaction front. I would recommend this with motivators. So that's where you start understanding why the person is not happy. Is he in the wrong job? Is it the wrong profession selected? Or is it that he is not getting enough motivators, or there are certain triggers creating demotivators, which is creating put off. I just don't feel like working then because I'm doing some task which is not naturally giving me motivations to do it. Or if I am at a people manager skill and I really need to start thinking whether I should from corporate need to go to a consulting, or do I really want to become an entrepreneur? I want to do something different. What are my key competence areas? So then I recommend this with the leadership DNA. So these are the combinations that we work with depending on who wants to take the assessment and why he or she wants to take the assessment.
What I hear is that, there are certain triggers when you can take it. And what about if you don't have triggers? Is there still like a time frame where you say you could, take it every 3 years, or it's great to take it every 5 years, irrespective of a trigger?
I would say, yeah, give yourself some time. I can't put a timeline to it, but maybe 4 5 years time, you might see a shift in your personality based on your life phases. You might see that you are changing as a person as well, and those profilings will also change. I have seen that personally for myself. I've done a lot of psychometric tests while I was in my college, towards the end of my college. And when I joined my jobs, I was automatically asked to do a few of those tests as well. And then I did them when I was at a senior leadership level, when I was looking, I was being promoted, etc. Within the organization, my company made me do them. I found I had shifted. I had shifted in various aspects of my life based on my phases of life. So I would say, let's say if somebody's gone through a very difficult, not difficult, I would say a very, difficult, yeah, you could say difficult time, or there has been very, change. There has been a lot of change in the person due to situations in their lives. You would find that the personalities will shift, and so will the tests also change. So give a few years of gap, and you would find you'll find the tests will give you different results.
I think I've done a few, and I'm probably going to go back and see if I still have the results. And it's actually very interesting to see how things would change over years. And I'm going to store these next time, at least when I do this.
And what I like about the tests is because I'm a person who's curious to know my own self more, and so is a lot of us are like that. We're always curious to know our own selves more, better, and would like to, look at various ways to, avenues to know about ourselves. I think these tools are very exciting. They always give us some perspectives. But I would say look at it from a higher level, from a strategic level, not just make your decisions based on them. Think of it from a point of view as guiding lights to you to help you find some directions at certain points in your life.
So I see in the chat, a lot of people are asking again, could you rename the tests and the tools that you have spoken about? I think everybody wants to look them up. So would it be possible to just repeat the names again?
Yeah. From my end, two of the tests that I have personally taken and I recommend are disc profiling. And there are various versions of disc also. You could take up any, but as Vandana rightly mentioned, based on, do you want them with motivators? Do you want them with other styles? There could be versions based on what you want it for. You could pick that up. And the other one that I enjoyed, learning more about was MBTI. So those were the two that I can personally recommend because I've experienced both of them.
Vandana, I think there was some additional ones you mentioned too.
You're asking me?
Yeah, Vandana. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yes. So I again this. There are various different assessments, and it fits your. It can be tailor made. There are multiple options available itself, along emotional intelligence getting into people space. It's very, very important to emotional intelligence is all about building empathy, knowing yourself, uh, understanding how you manage your own emotions, knowing others' emotions, and understanding how you regulate yourself, knowing others' emotions. And the crux of the entire these four quadrants, the core, the center is empathy. This comes as a combination when you are getting into the people manager's role. Very, very important. The third assessment is the DNA 25. That's for leadership. So it talks about 425 leadership styles that you have. It is mandatory to have those leadership styles. Again, that is for people managers from mid-level to senior level. You are an entrepreneur, you're planning to do. Nowadays, a lot of women, men, we've seen they're getting into the food business. They have to manage people. They have to manage probably homemakers. I'm taking one of the examples. What I saw in last 1 year, one of the industries that was thriving.
Yeah.
So now if that is the business that you are getting into, whose psychology you need to deal with? So do you have that emotional intelligence? How do you really need to start managing yourself, your cooks, your delivery boys, the orders, the IT technology people, the finance department? So there are so many different areas that you will be taking care of. And as a people manager, as an entrepreneur, are you emotionally intelligent to hold people with that empathy? And that builds the trust, it builds relationship. And that's the foundation of any organization's growth, because that's where peace, harmony, performance, and success comes.
Thank you for highlighting that again, Karuna and Vandana. I can see that a lot of people had questions. And, we rightly spoke about really setting career goals and everything is very futuristic, right? We're talking about long-term goals. I want to focus a little bit on the current job now. So how to evaluate your own current job? How can you evaluate your work performance and everything that is very current? Karuna.
Okay, I go first then. I think it's an interesting question, and how you can evaluate your current job. You could look at things like, am I being able to manage my work and personal things that I enjoy doing well? Also, in terms of your vision, wherever you intend to be, are you moving and progressing even if you're taking small baby steps, that's fine, but are you progressing in that space that you intend to be in for your vision? That will help you understand, are you in the right place, or are you being able to um, give whatever best you can in the work place that you are in. So evaluate your job from a point of view that, okay, see, job is not everything in your life. There are various other aspects of your life also. So are you being able to balance that? Financially, is it adding value? Also, there are a lot of other aspects of work environment. Is it connected to your values? And are you enjoying it overall? So those are a couple of things I would say on a high level to think of.
Vandana, any additional points from
Uh,
your side?
he spoke on the higher level. I will get a little deeper into it. So, so we have a holistic perspective. So I would definitely look at a deeper level. Am I getting peaceful sleep at night? Do I wake up in the middle of the night thinking certain things? My brain is really going faster than it used to. Am I having harmony and peace in my life? Am I enjoying my relationships, be it at workplace or at my outside my office? Because anything that happens in either space, at home or at office, you bring it on the other side with you. So you carry it along. Do you get up in the morning on your own and you just want to go to office before time? Are you reaching office with that energy that you did at the very first day of your career? Remember that first day you went to the job and you had that excitement, that thrill. What is good? What is holding for me in this space? It's something new. It's that world I really want to be in. Are you holding those same feelings with you today as well? Then you are at the right place. Now, from here, money is a byproduct. When you are in harmony with all these things, these areas that I mentioned, you will automatically be growing. Your people, your seniors, your stakeholders are noticing you. People, other are observing you all the time. Your performance will be at peak all the time. You will take risk. You will be a team player with cross-functional teams and others. Are you getting new assignments, something different than what you already know? This is how you need to start identifying whether you are in the right place in your career or not. Because you will be stagnant if you continue doing the same role, same job, same task, same deliverables. So you need to start learning new things, because as you grow in your career, you will get larger responsibilities. You will need to know different functions and business at a deeper level. So you need to start asking your manager to give you such assignments if you're not getting it from them. And that's where you need to start considering your career. Are you at the right place or not? Or else you need to probably start considering something else.
Yeah, and I think just to add some different perspective to it, Vandana and Sneha, many a times, there are times when we need to make effort in our jobs as well. Sometimes when people evaluate their jobs, they look at it from a perspective, oh God, I'm not happy, and they think it's time for us to run away from that opportunity, from that job. I would really genuinely want people who are watching it, listening to it later or right now, I would want them to evaluate it from a point of view where you're detached from it and then look at it.
Yeah.
Why? Because many a times you've come across a difficult situation, and then when you evaluate your job and you say, oh my God, I feel this is not for me. But actually, you were in the right place, you regret it later, or you realize it later. Even if you don't regret it, you realize it later that maybe this opportunity could have been made into a different view. So I would say, rather than running away from that difficult situation just by evaluating it and saying that, look, I'm not in the right place, I think look at it from a detached angle and that will give you the right evaluation. So there is a, different thought process you'll have to use here, not just go in that space that, okay, I'm not happy, so I have to get out of it. But why are you not happy? And is there something I can do in the current situation? If not, then there is an opportunity for you to step out. So I just want people to be mindful of this as well.
I think that that's something which is managing your impulses and emotions and having a helicopter view.
Absolutely.
I think
on a helicopter ride, 360 about. And
I think a lot of times when we start analyzing this, we start with a very simple way of comparing ourselves to the peers or to friends or people around us. And obviously that's not being detached, but how can we really analyze whether we are, or how do you really do it in a detached way? Do you go to an external person, or do you go to a mentor? What are the tools out there?
I absolutely recommend people to have a coach in their lives and mentors as well at different stages of their life. So different aspects of their lives also. So you might have a different, let's say physical fitness coach. You might have a separate career coach or a business coach, or, somebody else, whichever aspect you're focusing on. It's important to have a coach, in my opinion, because they can help you look at it from a very different view, and that will give a different perspective. Also talking to your peers and even sharing your situation, that this is what you're feeling, or maybe they are also facing similar problems with their peers or bosses or whatever. Sometimes we think so much and make it so huge in our heads that we don't look at it from a very observer viewpoint. We look at it from within that situation viewpoint. So having said that, I think talking, leveraging your support system, and also taking a little bit of time to self-reflect, and of course having that coach will also help. So these three things automatically will give you a very good holistic thought process for it.
Vandana, for you, I know you're going to add a point to that, but I want to add another element to it. When you're answering this or you're giving your views, especially now that the environment has changed and the work environment is not physical, at least in the last year, and we don't know if it's really going to go back to being 100% physical. So could you also add some points from that aspect, that how do we really evaluate our strengths and weaknesses in a virtual environment?
first and foremost, you really need to ask yourself, are you a loner? Can you work in the virtual environment? If you are from that, if I talk again, if you allow me to go back to the disc profiling that I spoke, are you an introvert, task oriented? You can easily be, you are a loner and you can easily work on the laptop and you don't need people around you. But if you are an influencer, you're a dominant personality, you need, or you're a steady person, you definitely need people around you. Otherwise, you will start developing emotional problems. You will start becoming toxic. You will start releasing your emotions with your family members. Probably it will be a lot of frustration. So you need to then start journaling. You need to start you do your SWOT analysis. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? Do you like to be in people? You like to be not in people? The world is changing. However, we don't know whether we will go back to 100% capacity of working at office physically. However, it will be on a rotational basis. So when it is a rotational basis, you need to speak with your manager, your HR, and bring across these aspects that it is impacting you emotionally, mentally. It is affecting your performance. You're not liking to work in this way, and allow them to travel, come to office a few days, and that all these considerations will be taken care for, because HR is people's person, will be empathetic and emotional about all these things. So definitely, these are one of the ways. Secondly, when you're looking at your SWOT analysis, try and see what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, how are you wired, who you are, what you can consider, what are the resources available for you around you. If there are no resources available and you need these resources, then what is the possibility to identify where will you get it? So start getting deeper, and asking questions is the best way to get answer. And that can happen either with your better self, inner self, because all the answers are lying inside. You have all the answers for yourself. If you're not able to find it, go around your environment, ask your people around you, friends, your colleagues, your bosses, your family members. This is what you are dealing with. This is what you're identifying. How you can start getting these supports. Where will you get this support? And start using that support. Very important. Second aspect I see is having a coach. Coach will be the person who will go deep dive or at your identity level, will help you to understand who you are, because who is a coach? A coach is a person who will be non-judgmental, unbiased sounding board for you, who will not judge you, who will not bring belief systems, baggages, their knowledge, wisdom with them on the table. They will be curious as partners with you to work with you on your journey and make sure it is their 50% and your 50% towards that success in that journey. So it is a win-win situation for both you and your coach. Hiring a coach is a professional service that you are looking at. If you go to Western countries, you go to United States, you go to Europe, UK, people have personal coaches. Every house, every individual has a personal coach. We all are Netflix people. If anybody has seen web series like Suits, if I talk about, it's a very high profile New York City law firm. Every individual has their personal coach.
How much do they charge? I mean, because I know that is also another question that's coming up, that how do you find them and how much do they charge?
Look, there could be varied charges, but the charges are never ever going to be more than what you would earn in your life. So look at it from that aspect, that why a coach can help you in various ways, stop you from making those mistakes that others have made, help you to build yourself, your confidence, and your own, work towards your own vision, help you maybe build new habits that can help you to, enlarge your own vision and your actions towards, goals. So
Absolutely.
you could benefit by, in your own life. So it could be a life-changing experience, and that money is never going to be more than your life-changing experience.
I would like to add here to Karuna. Sorry, this is something which is very, very interesting. People should understand why successful people are more successful. Aren't you, me, them, we all are same human being working toward our own success, our own journeys. Then why successful people are always successful and they are more successful? There are some people who are not successful. They are where they are all their lives. Recently in media, it came Prince Harry has his own personal coach. He got an executive coach. You talk about Steve Jobs. He had his personal coach all his life. You talk about Satya Nadella. He has his personal coach. There are some personalities, even politicians of India, they all have personal coaches.
Absolutely. I think it's a valid point in there. Yeah.
Prize is something which is going to be one time, the way you go to a school or a university for your credentialing, for your studies, your degrees, you do your MBA. Doesn't matter where you do it from, but you invest that money because you know that degree will give you an entry and a success. It's teaching you tools, techniques, and methods to perform in your businesses, wherever in your professional career you would like to pursue.
Absolutely.
However, a coach is going to work with you at a neurological level. It's a deep transformation that happens with your belief systems. It breaks your myths. The coach helps you to start having different perspectives. It's like an ophthalmologist who clears your vision by giving you different angles and readjusting your focus and tells you, oh, this is your new lens. Is it clearer for you now? Wow, I can see everything so beautiful here. That is the coach for you.
Thank you for getting a little bit more in detail there. I know that there are a lot of questions around this, but I also don't want to take up more time and open it up to the audience because there's so many questions coming in, and I want to give them an opportunity to ask you directly. I think the first person is Vyom. Vyom, can someone unmute him?
Hi, am I audible?
Yeah, Vyom.
Yes,
Please go ahead and
thank you.
ask your question.
Yeah, thank you so much. Really enjoyed hearing all your comments and whatever suggestions you had. So I had one question that there are passions that many of us have, most of us have, and especially artistic, passions that we have, and more often than not, it's really difficult to pursue them, especially it may not be financially rewarding, and it's really the 1% of artists that actually make it make it financially well also. So I just wanted to hear your thoughts on it and if you have any suggestions. Thank you.
I think what it will depend on is that how important is your financial success to you. And if you have certain responsibilities on the financial angle to take care of, you might want to juggle and relook at, whatever options you're exploring, whether you are or somebody else is exploring. Just to give you a thought here, yeah, there might be a possibility that only a few artists may be very well known. One thing, times are changing. There are new avenues coming up for people to be able to explore their artistic capabilities. Second, of course, I would want you to look at it from a rational angle, that financially, if there is a certain other way which can help you take care of your financial responsibilities for a while you and your job can give you that kind of a time to pursue your artistic capabilities, it's better to pursue a passion. This is my own personal opinion, in its own pure form, rather than making it into a profession, because that there might be a lot of commercial aspects involved. Sometimes some of us enjoy artistic passions just for the sake of healing, or just for the sake of just feeling good. So and professionally we might have a different profession. So this is my own opinion, even though I would say two things. One, times are changing, there are more avenues coming up for people. Second, be rational, look at your financial needs, and then take a decision.
Thank you, Vyom, for that question. I know it's and especially because we talk so much about passion, right? So I think it's a very, very, very valid question there. The next person is Rajni. Can we unmute Rajni?
Yeah. Yeah. Hi.
Hi,
I just want to know, what are the ways in which we can upskill ourselves when we are working in a hybrid situation like the current ones? So any skills that are, apart from the technical skills and apart from, what other skills can we upskill ourselves on?
Vandana, do you want to question? Yeah.
Wellness, emotional intelligence, mental fitness. These are the most important skills that one really need to consider to work on self in these hybrid situations. Very important. See, physical skills, technical skills, you know your business the best. If you are, for example, you're in IT profession, you need not even think twice before you know what is the next technology that you need to start preparing yourself for. You are into sales, probably you need to get into the people skills bit. So how technologically or What are the different ways that you can, over the internet, using the digital platform, you can connect with people, and what are different ways you can influence people? Start finding those ways and start polishing yourself on those areas. However, it is all about your inner self that you really need to upskill at this time, because if you don't, when you don't have mental fitness, emotional fitness, everything else will start shattering.
Absolutely true. I think sometimes we do get a little overwhelmed with, talking about upskilling. And I have another question in the audience. We're not able to unmute Aisha, but I think it's a very valid follow-up question to this. She's asking, you spoke about upskilling in the start. Can you please tell us how to effectively upskill at this time, as everyone is now doing these hundreds of courses, and also where and how to do it? There are so many resources, so how do I know which one to choose for myself? And I think this is the other problem of it, right? Like at one point everybody's talking about upskilling, and then we are just overwhelmed with the amount of resource that's out there. Karuna?
Yeah, I think there is so much out there, and there is so much information download available that we can get overwhelmed with that. I absolutely agree with this. Um, Personally, I would say I sometimes make choices based on the credibility of the coach or the trainer. That is my way of doing it. There are other things that you can look into as well. That, let's say, there is a certain, first of all, I think you need to figure out that what are certain things that you need to upskill yourself in. So let's say you identified, for example, taking Vandana's example, mental, emotional wellness. If you have to, let's say, focus on that, that's a very important aspect for today. In these times, very, very important aspect to look at. Emotional intelligence. Let's say you identify a certain aspect that you want to focus on. Then I would say go out and look for what is the information available out there around it. Be rational in terms of breaking it up into chunks and saying that, okay, I see newbies coming in with limited experience into it, or there are a lot of senior people experienced into it. Not necessarily the only senior people can give you the right balance, but look at your own style of learning. If you enjoy, you want to directly talk to someone, pick up something which allows you to connect with the person one on one. If you enjoy doing it at your own pace, let's say 50 minutes, 20 minutes every day, maybe go for an online course that could be cost effective for you. And then also, I would say very important aspect is surely look at the credibility of the trainer or the coach, because what kind of experience do they have? Do they hold the experience that they claim to be teaching in? That could be one of the rejection or selection criterias. So just be a little rational on that, and it will give you a very good understanding of, and then you can shortlist 2 3 and then see, possibly, if possible, speak to a few people who've already taken their courses, and that can give you also a good amount of feedback on, am I ready to take this person up as a coach or a trainer.
I feel like I went through this also, because it's actually really overwhelming. So I'm glad that this question was asked, Aisha. Thank you for asking it. And it's not easy deciding. Sometimes it's a new thing you're trying, and it's disappointing at the end. So you don't understand what is the fuss about upskilling and what is the fuss about online courses. But even for me, just asking people around if they've done something like that, what do they recommend? And I think it's also okay not to take up courses that a lot of people are, or the buzz is about. So something that Vandana said in the beginning, that if everyone's talking about artificial intelligence, does not mean you have to take that course. It might not be a fit for you, it might not be something that you need to do, and it might not be something you enjoy. So at the end of it, if you do take it, you're not going to come out and feel the same way that someone else for whom it was a better fit. So I think exploring is always great. I'll move to the last question. This is from Vishalakshi. If you know of any blogs written by professional coaches, can you please share that?
You can go on the websites.
I have certain areas of interest, so I just read blogs on those topics. So is there a specific subject that you want to know it for? Maybe if it's a common subject, I can suggest, but
Vishalakshi, if you want to write back, if there is a particular topic but what I understand is mostly for coaching or people who are coaches and they are writing blogs around maybe careers.
Yes. Especially career coaches.
Yeah.
Okay. I think the good option would be look up on LinkedIn. And if you're looking for coaches, you would find they would have some content available online. So those who might have content, you can very clearly see what is their credibility when they write content. Is it really deep content? And you can resonate with them personally. And that would help you kind of make a choice. You could Google stuff and find out more, in my opinion. I mean, there's nothing specific I can say that, okay, this is a blog that you can go. For example, medium.com is a good website. Many a times I find fairly good articles on them written by individuals. You could also search for LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a good, credible website to be at. Read about certain content that people are writing professionally. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, I hope
there are little more websites like HBR, Harvard Business Review, Inc. There you will find a lot of content and specific. If you have, see, career coaching is a very vast subject. It's a global terminology. So you need to be specific. What in career coaching? Are you looking at your leadership skills? Are you looking at your behaviors? Are you looking at strategies? What are you looking at as specific? Then you can find, you can Google, you can search on that. You go to a lot of coaches' websites. Like, for example, if you go on my website, since I am writing for 10 years plus, and I write for the Midday and Times and the American governments, you'll find hundreds of blogs, but they will not be on career. It will be on this specific aspects that you go for, you search for. This is how individuals or professional writers, they write. You go with the specific term that you're searching for. Is it strategy that you want to learn? How to find your next career move? Is it your emotions that are coming in your way and you feel that I really need to consider managing my emotions? How do I do that? So is it coming in the way of my career? Let me go and Google on that aspect. So be specific when you are making your search. And that will really help you to get the right content. It will be helpful.
Vishalakshi, I hope that answers your question. It is a broad topic, but there were a few names which should work as a good starting point. And I hope you do find, the specific content that really helps you and resonates well with you. With this, we're almost at the end of our time. So I just want to, go back to you guys and ask for any leaving thoughts or last thoughts, before we end the show. Vandana.
Life is a journey. And look inside of yourself and not around you. You will find all the answers for your journey.
Thank you, Vandana.
That's pretty interesting. I think I use the concept called as whenever people are looking for insights, I tell them, for success, what is very important is that we reflect, resolve, and that's from there you will act and evolve. So reflect, resolve, and from there you will act and evolve. So you can take that back as a thought reflect on it. And I would say that if you are regularly reflecting on what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, you know, what are things that I did that I should celebrate, even small things, and be grateful for. What are those things that I can do better, and I have a chance to do it today. You know, yesterday I did not do work on them. I can work on them today. Those are some baby steps you could take towards your success. And the moment we are reflective, I think it just opens up a huge avenue for us to grow. You become more resourceful internally, and once you start acting on them, I think just you can shift your life with just this one statement. I use it like a mantra for myself.
It is a very beautiful statement. I think I'm going to go back and use it as well. For me, it's been an absolute delight to have you guys here, hear your thoughts. There are things, as usual, I feel like I learn so much when I'm hosting these discussions, and I can see that the audience was also very engaged. They had a lot of questions. So thank you for answering everything. And thank you for participating today and enlightening us with such great thoughts. And for everyone else,
Pleasure. Thank you.
and for everyone else in the audience, I hope you have a great weekend. You stay healthy, you stay safe, and we will see you again in a few weeks. Thank you, Karuna. Thank you, Vandana.
Thank you.
Lovely connecting with you, Vandana, Sneha, Meeta, Damini, all of you.
Likewise. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Always a pleasure.